Hi friends, David here from Learn Stage Lighting, and in this video we're going to talk about how do you choose a clamp? How do you choose the right clamp? You know, because you got all these options, we got a bunch on the table here. How do you choose the right clamp for the lights you have, for your stage lighting? Let's dive in. If you look at clamps, and you may see many clamps on the market, ranging anywhere from about, at the time of this recording, about $8 to, $40. And you might look at these things and go, okay, David, there's an $8 clamp here, and there's a $40 clamp here. What makes the $40 roughly clamp so awesome? Why is it that this is like 4 times more than this clamp, actually a little more? Why is it so awesome? Do I need the expensive one? Do I need the cheap one? Do I need something in between? Let's talk about it. So when it comes down to clamp, any light that's going to hang from a truss, a pipe, even Unistrut, needs some sort of a clamp in order to attach to it. In the lighting industry, there's a lot of different types of clamps that you may see. The first and probably the oldest type that's out there are the C-type clamp. It looks like the letter C, right? If we look at it up close, it's got a bolt that tightens down to the pipe stand or truss. It has the C-shaped bit that goes over the truss or pipe, and then it has a bolt down here to unscrew and connect that to the yoke of the fixture, right? It goes through the hole on the yoke of the fixture, like we've got on this par up here, and then it attaches. So, using it is as simple as loosening it down, putting it on the pipe or truss itself, and then tightening it up, okay, with the fixture on it. Now, pros and cons of the C-clamp. The pros are, oftentimes, they're the least expensive type of clamp. There's like C-clamps like this. This one is a ADJ model that we really like a lot, and they have one called the S-hook as well. And they can be a really good fit for a lot of things. Again, often inexpensive. They could fit because of their adjustable bolt, multiple sizes of pipe or truss. They have a range that they fit upon. And they can hold a lot of weight. Now, the cons, okay? Any C-clamp, when you're using aluminum pipe or truss like we've got here, or an aluminum stand, or maybe a speaker stand, or like a stand like the Chauvet Flex stands that we really like here at Learn Stage Lighting, catch our review here. When you're using a stand that's not basically steel, I mean, even if it is steel, and you start to tighten this down and you put a little wrench on it, you're gonna get a little divot, just a little like burr, a little mark on the truss, okay? If you tighten down too hard and it actually indents that truss or stand, that truss or stand is no longer safe to use, okay? If it actually indents or pushes in, at that point, you've now violated the integrity of that truss or stand, and it's not appropriate to use it anymore, okay? And so that's the biggest drawback to C-clamps. The great thing is, you can put it on the truss, and that's why we used it for conventional lights for so long in theater. It was the standard for a long time. And they're still not bad. It's just you've got to be aware it may ding up your truss a little. If you're not careful and you tighten down too hard, with a wrench, like seriously too hard, you're going to get that indentation and you've broken your truss. But it does hold the weight of the fixture while you go ahead and tighten it down. It's just, the fact that it dents up the truss means that it's not always a good pick for everyone. Now, if you've got steel pipe, like in a theater or in a church or where have you, then, C-clamps, great pick. Okay, next we have, as I mentioned, a Cheeseborough clamp, or cheeseburger as some people, half coupler, other people will call them. Okay, you can see this one here. This one's actually from Gamma. We like their clamps, their stuff a lot. And the C-clamp is unique, the Cheeseborough, because it tightens down by putting force around the pipe or truss, right? So we're literally hang it on the truss, go ahead, take the bolt, line it up, tighten it down, right? And so it fits around the truss itself, and then this bolt slides up. This one actually gives you your choice between the threaded bolt and the wing nut, and then so you take off the one you don't want, and then you can tighten that down wherever this sits. You get a little bit of variation in truss or pipe size, but not a lot. And then of course on the bottom here, this tightens down to the fixture. On the inside, it's either going to be a bolt that has sides to it so that you can just tighten endlessly, or there's going to be an Allen wrench key in the middle so that when you're tightening down on this side, you can hold it so it doesn't spin. The upsides of the coupler clamp is, especially for lighter weight fixtures, it's a great option. The biggest downside is when you're putting this on a pipe or truss, okay, and you're getting ready to tighten it down, you are holding the weight of the fixture yourself, right? Because this is the wiggly part, and you're holding the weight of that fixture. The clamp doesn't hold it while you tighten it down. So it can really lead to fatigue, and you got to be careful with it. One of the benefits, though, of that approach is that if you have it, say, upside down and the fixture's going up above the truss, it's going to work just fine. In fact, if it's upside down, it actually kind of holds the weight of the fixture. It's going to work really great. If it's angled out sideways, that's one place where a C-clamp wins, because often you can't get these quite tight enough and the fixture's hanging up here, and then it starts tilting and it starts drifting over time and as it shakes and whatnot. So that's something to watch out for. Whereas the C-clamp, because it's got this bolt, it comes in and it bites that truss a little bit again, sometimes leaving a little mark. You got to be careful, but there are products you can buy called truss protectors. They have various slang terms, but truss protectors that you know, allow you to not dent up the truss. Other times people use pennies. I don't know if that's really the most legitimate way to do it, but it's been done many times, and it does work. And so be aware of that. If you're out hanging a fixture, a Cheeseborough is generally not your best bet. A C-clamp is going to be a lot better. Trigger clamps. So this is a trigger clamp. This one is actually mounted permanently to a Omega bracket for a moving light. This is an option from Volox with their fixtures. But the trigger clamp is interesting and unique because you basically place it on your pipe, right? And then you tighten down here, and then the bottom jaw here is what's coming up and tightening down around that pipe, okay? And so the benefit to that is that you put this on your pipe and you've got your fixture hanging down, and guess what? I can let go of that, you shouldn't let go of it for long, but when I've got that clamp or two clamps for, a bigger moving head like this, it can sit and it can rest, and its weight is being held by the stand or truss. Okay, so when you're tightening down the handle on the back here, you are not holding the weight of that fixture. That is a huge benefit when you are going ahead and hanging heavier fixtures, or if you're working by yourself a lot, you want the weight to go on the truss. So there's a few types of clamps that do that. The trigger type clamp is one of those, where you hang it on the truss and then this bottom piece comes up to attach to the truss. Often they're ribbed, like this one has some ribs on it to kind of help grab the truss a little, so if you are out hanging sideways, it will still grab. Now, that being said, if you're hanging sideways or upside down, trigger clamps can sometimes be a little finicky, sometimes not be your best bet. Last but not least, actually second to last, but second to not least, we have a claw type clamp. So this is the Mega Claw by the Light Source. If you've ever worked in professional lighting, you've probably seen these clamps, and they have a ton of benefits to them. The first is similar to the trigger clamp. You put this over the truss, okay, and then it's being held by the truss. If you have a 100-pound fixture, a 200-pound fixture, whatever you have, the weight is being hung by the pipe or truss the second you put the clamp on there, okay? And so that's a huge benefit already. The next benefit is that it holds it really securely. You see the shape here? The way that it's rounded and it comes more than halfway down. That way it kind of sits up on the truss and it's very secure, even before you bring down this piece, which latches in as long as it's loose, latches in here, and then can be tightened down, as so. Similar to the half couplers, this is not always your best bet if you are hanging sideways out from a truss, but most of the time, especially with heavier fixtures, they're going to hang straight down, and the claw is the mega claw or similar is your best bet. Okay, last but not least, and then we'll talk about brands, is this is a Unistrut clamp. You may have seen these before, you may have not. This is for if you have Unistrut in your space, even if it's flush mounted to a beam or to the ceiling by an appropriate installer. You can attach your fixture here. This goes in the strut channel. It turns, it tightens down with this ring below, and then it's a really good way to attach your fixture when you do have Unistrut in a space and still have that ability to move it around. Also, you don't have to get above the Unistrut to bolt through it or anything like that. Really great when you've got that kind of situation. So we have clamps from brands like the Light Source, but also every manufacturer that we carry also has clamps. So why would you ever buy a clamp from someone other than the manufacturer of the light? Well, the differences are subtle, but if you set up and tear down your fixtures often, it really makes a big impact. So when we look at a Light Source clamp here, okay, we're going to see here that we can use this handle with our bare hands, okay? Very easy to turn. If we use this clamp, it's very easy to grab this with a wrench. The Light Source even has these little mega combo wrenches that we really love that you can turn on here and be ready to roll, okay? As opposed to, you know, in Cheeseboroughs, for example, you know, this is a Gamma one. We've got a wing nut here. The wing nut's going to be kind of hard to grab with a wrench, whereas, let me grab a Light Source Cheeseborough super-de-duper quick from across the studio. Whereas if we have a Light Source brand Cheeseborough, this is a double coupler, or Cheeseborough, but when we have a Light Source brand, it has this really nice, same size as this handle, okay, same width, closure on it. That's going to be the biggest thing, is that, you know, when you're going from clamp to clamp to clamp to clamp to clamp, using a higher quality, a nicer clamp like these Light Source clamps are just a lot easier to work on. Having closer sizes between the tightening knob and the bolts on the bottom is going to make it better and easier to use than like a regular wing nut, like a lot of the clamps from the manufacturers. When it comes down to it, you know, any clamp that's safe and rated for the fixture appropriately can be a great clamp. But I would say, you know, the benefit is there that if you are setting up and tearing down every day, then, you know, going with a Light Source clamp, the Mega Claws are really popular in the professional industry because they're really good. Or one of the other clamps from the Light Source is going to be a really good fit. This isn't sponsored by them or anything. In fact, you know, we sell the Light Source, we're dealers for them as well as other brands. But I can tell you from a financial perspective, if we sell you a Light Source clamp over a manufacturer's clamp, we're actually making less money. Because at the end of the day, we want you to get the right thing. Now, the Light Source Mega Claw, that is one exception. The Mega Clamp, because these guys are just if you have steel pipe in a space, these are the most cost-effective clamp you can get, and they're excellent. They're good, they're not heavy, which is great. Overall, keeps your fixtures lighter, keeps your overall pipe lighter, and they're really well priced. So at the end of the day, you know, for a lot of times, if something's semi-permanent or it's up for a long time, often we're going to recommend going with a simpler clamp. Okay, if it can handle the fixture's weight, a simpler, lighter, lower cost clamp. But if you work with professional production, if you set up and tear down this stuff every day, if you're going to be using it a lot and hard, then it's really worth investing in something like the Light Source Mega Claw clamps. There are lots of production companies out there that use these, that literally, you know, I remember using a clamp on a fixture 10, 15 years ago, and that clamp is still in use today, you know, 2 or 3 fixtures later, right? So when it comes down to it, a clamp is not just something you're buying for your fixture that you're hanging now, but you can probably use and keep that clamp when you change fixtures again and again, especially if you buy something good. So with that, guys, hopefully this helped you understand some of the differences between different types of clamps and why you might choose one type over another. At the end of the day, you know, it's all about finding the best fit of the right clamp for your needs at the right price that fits, you know, what you're trying to do. And if you're looking for help with that, you're not sure what to get, hey, we're here at Learn Stage Lighting Gear. Just head over to learnstagelightinggear.com. Feel free to fill out a quote request, or just fill out the contact form. Let us know what you're looking for, and we'll help you find a solution to anything you're trying to do with lighting. Our helpful folks have helped tons of people this year, last year, and we want to help everybody who watches this video. So if you're in the US, you need to buy gear, reach out to us. We love to help. We're friendly, and we'll get you personalized pricing. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.